Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo and America First Policy Institute President Brooke Rollins. Great to have you both back with us tonight.
Thank you, Shannon.
I want to play just a little bit, and this is, we cut this down just so you have a little taste of something that the president said tonight when he was asked about vaccinations and masking, that kind of thing. Here's a little bit of his response on that question.
And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you are. Why can't the experts say we know that this virus is in fact it's going to be, or excuse me, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved but permanently approved. Yeah.
Okay, so that's just part of about half of the answer. Brooke, what do you make of that?
Well, I will tell you, having been in the White House for 3 of the last 4 years with President Trump, being in the Oval Office, watching him make decision after decision, it's heartbreaking on one hand, frankly, as a mom of 4 children with parents and seeing friends and parents, it's heartbreaking. But even more for me is it's scary. The decisions that have to be made every single day in that Oval Office by the most powerful man in the world, and just hearing him unable to put a thought together, I think everyone in the country should be really, really scared.
We all have our off days. John, your assessment.
I think there's actually an important legal and constitutional issue that's lurking behind this, but I worry that President Biden, that comment didn't make any sense, isn't really aware of it, which is, can the government, can employers force people to take a drug, the vaccine, that has only been authorized for emergency use and hasn't been authorized for permanent use? That's a legitimate legal question, and I think it's much more difficult than people let on.
That's true. Okay, I want to try to lightning round through a few other things. Let's talk about critical research theory and some of the stuff that Aisha just pointed out in her teaching, or excuse me, about teaching that was in her package there, this group that says white supremacy is in everything, that white educators need to be deprogrammed, all kinds of things. And this conversation about CRT. Here is Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on the debate we're having.
Oh, wow. So your child's teacher is anti-racist and is actually fluent in how to dismantle racism and the dynamics of racism in a classroom. Yeah. That is something that teachers should know how to do. And Republicans are trying to ban this, are trying to ban us from knowing our own history.
All right, John, fair to say that if you want to ban CRT, you're trying to ban history?
I think that's completely wrong. That's not actually what Republicans are doing. But worst of all, I think, is you've got an education department that doesn't know what it's doing. I wouldn't trust this education department to be telling schools what they should and shouldn't teach. Let local towns and cities and counties decide. Second, it makes you think either this education department doesn't know what it's doing or it really believes this stuff, which is even more worrying. Do they really believe that white teachers need to be deprogrammed throughout the country? I sure hope not. It's either incompetence or it's maliciousness in this government.
Okay, Brooke, I want to get to the next topic with you and give you the first bite at this. This is the January 6th commission that fell apart today when Speaker Pelosi said to the Republicans that Leader McCarthy picked can't be on. He says, great, we're going to yank everybody there. Representative Adam Schiff, a Democrat who has been a big critic of the Trump administration, which you are a part of, and beyond, says, as McCarthy cries foul, remember, Democrats negotiated an independent bipartisan commission and agreed to all GOP demands, but McCarthy refused. For him, it's never been about the process. It's always been about hiding the truth of January 6th and doing Trump's bidding. How do you respond to that criticism?
Listen, here's the deal. It is the same script over and over and over again. Being in the White House, having to live with this every single day. Here we are again talking about January 6th and Pelosi having this power to say who can and who can't be on the commission. It's just politics. And I believe very sincerely that what they're trying to do is hide the ball. Their ideas aren't working. Their prosperity is down. Gas prices are up. Our peace across the world is disintegrating. Their ideas, their leadership is completely bereft of anything that makes sense right now. And so, again, I think they're very worried about November 2022. And I think they know their ideas are completely bankrupt. And so let's pivot once again and make a big political scene about something that isn't necessary. So, you know, same story, different script, same day, wash, rinse, repeat. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think that millions of Americans would like to know exactly what happened, what led up to it, what happened that day, regardless of party. So let's hope that they can find some way to get to that. All right, John, I want to ask you about our final topic here. We saw the video today of the retail crime going on out there in California and people just walking in and out. Now, we're told in this piece in the San Francisco Chronicle, it's an opinion piece, that you're getting the wrong impression. It says viral videos and sensationalist headlines about retail theft pander to racist, property-centered notions of crime and are teed up by editors and producers knowing the type of foaming response they will solicit. John, final word to you.
I'm afraid that does happen to be the views, I think, of most of the voters of San Francisco who vote for mayors, who vote for a district attorney, who have implemented these soft on crime policies where people are walking into stores. I've seen it myself, not just the videos. I've seen it myself where people have walked into stores and just walked out. The thing that I think is so pernicious is all these progressive leaders in these cities are following policies. Who are going to be harmed the most by these policies? The poor in the inner cities.
That's right.
Yeah,
and when
these folks are voted in.
police.
Thank you. We got to go, but I thank you both. Come back soon.
Thank you, Shannon.
The day's viral videos are up next. Thanks, John. Thanks, Brooke. Thanks.